If you found this video, it's likely that you're tired of trying to diet and trying to maintain a fun, flexible lifestyle. It's likely that you're caught somewhere in between. Either you can't stick to the fitness side of things when you try to go all in, or you end up falling right back into your old habits and going all in on the degeneracy. So, what I want to do for the next 5 minutes or so is go over exactly how I've mastered being able to meet somewhere in the middle so you could be fit and flexible at the same damn time. You can keep the beers, but ditch that damn beer belly. Let's get into it. So, you want a lean, aesthetic physique, but you want to go out, you want to go have some fun. If this method found you, it's likely the type of guy who wants the best of both worlds, right? You want to look amazing, but you want to enjoy life too, because otherwise, what's the point of looking good in the first place? So the idea of living like a monk or only ever eating chicken, rice, and broccoli makes abs sound like they're not even worth it. I used to think that I would never be able to get the physique I have today without giving up booze, cheat meals, and partying entirely. Thankfully, through a lot of trial and error over the years, I found that that was not the case, and I created this fit and flexible method. So let's get right into it. The first thing is keeping the balance, right? In order for this lifestyle to work, you have to understand that you will thrive somewhere in the middle. Okay, so you will not expect to get away with a full-blown, all-out, degenerate party lifestyle. However, you're not going to be required to go to fitness extremes either. Diet will not need to be 100% perfect, and you really only need to train about 3 days per week, which we'll get into a little bit more in a second. People will wonder how it's possible that you're doing both. They'll doubt whether or not it's actually possible for you. Block out the noise. We don't concern ourselves with them or their opinions because we know what it's really going to take. Training for aesthetics. When it comes to training, in all honesty, most of us just want to look as attractive as possible and don't necessarily feel the need to train to look like a bodybuilder, right? I'd rather have a lean, athletic physique that doesn't scare away all of the beautiful women. For most guys, training 3 days per week is plenty, typically following an upper, lower, upper training split. And to be honest with you, you really barely have to touch your legs anyway if you just want to have overall aesthetics. Now, all that's left from here is to maximize our weekly workouts for muscle growth and performance by training within a close proximity to failure. That means taking all of our working sets very close to failure, maybe leaving a rep or two in reserve. Let's be real here though. The bottom line is you go to the gym to produce a result, and there's really no need to spend more than a couple hours per week in there. Even if you master the time spent in the gym, the real strides are going to be made in the next pillar, which is your nutrition. So let's talk about fueling like a machine. In order for this system to work, this pillar is non-negotiable. The idea here is to maximize looks, performance, and flexibility. So you got to prioritize what really matters first and then worry about the rest later. So protein is the first priority. This is to ensure muscle growth, but also muscle retention, especially during a fat loss phase. Protein is also going to take care of increasing your satiety, or in other words, not feeling like you're starving all the time, and set your baseline for each day. So if you can master your protein strategy, then you're a lot more likely to stay on board for the long term, right? So you want to make it as simple as possible. You're going to aim for about a gram of protein per pound of your goal body weight and then master the exact structure that will get you to your daily target without fail. Example, with a goal of 180 grams of daily protein, if I were to eat 1 pound of a lean meat, 4 to 6 eggs, and a whey protein shake every single day, that will get me to my daily target without fail. I could do that daily. And then from that point, I have the flexibility to sort of go ahead and backfill the rest of my daily calories from carbs and fats. And I like to do this based on daily energy expenditure. So understanding the amount of calories that you burn on a given day or averaged out across the course of a week will help you find your calorie target. And then whether or not it's a rest or booze type of day, you keep the carbs and fats on the lower end to be safe and to bank some calories for the degeneracy that's about to occur later on. Or if it's a high activity, intense training day, then your caloric burn and training demand is going to allow for more carbohydrates, and that's going to be the best time to go ahead and increase that number of overall carbs and fats or calories. Now, the lifestyle involves, of course, putting it all together. So once you understand how to train and how to eat, the only thing left to do is understand exactly how all of this flows together to ensure that we don't fly too close to the sun, right? You can't expect to just get away with going totally off the rails. You got to keep the balance. So a couple of rules here that are going to ensure that this happens every damn time. First one is earn it. All right. If you haven't gotten your work done this week, if you haven't hit all your training sessions, met your dietary standards for the week, then what the fuck are you doing celebrating, going out, drinking, and having fun? Right? I'll drink and go out once I've done everything that I needed to do this week as far as my work is concerned, as far as my diet is concerned, my training, my steps, activity level, all that kind of thing. Once I've covered that, then I've unlocked, so to speak, the ability to go out and drink and have some fun. And that kind of bleeds right into the next thing, which is going to be the 90-10 rule. Now, I've initially talked about this regarding food quality and your diet overall, right? 90% being real whole foods, and the other 10% being a little bit more flexible, a little bit more fun, your cheat meals, things like that. However, this also goes for your overall lifestyle, right? Your lifestyle should lean more towards that of a fitness guy, but without the extreme sacrifice and still showing the party side or having fun once in a while. The last thing is track. Track like your life depends on it, because it kind of does. So keep tabs on overall energy expenditure or calories burned, so you know how many calories you have in the bank, so to speak, and after you've met your protein requirement. This boils it down to simple math and makes it damn near impossible to F it up, right? If you know your numbers, basically you're just playing simple math, making sure you hit your protein target, understanding how many calories you have left in the bank, and then you could do with those calories pretty much as you please. Done correctly, the end result will be weight loss that seems effortless, especially to those on the outside wondering how the hell you got away with it. So the bottom line is, if you can keep on top of your training, on top of your diet, and understand how to mesh the two together and when to let loose, this plan will feel effortless, and it will allow you the flexibility you've been craving, so you can finally reap the benefits and get the best of both worlds, both being fit and flexible, enjoying your day-to-day life.